Hello everybody, this is Lara from pureelliottwave.com with an update for XRP for you on 2nd of May 2023. My short-term target, I expect an upward trend, is going to continue to 0.8117. My longer-term target is now recalculated at $8.10. Overall, I expect XRP is in the very early stages of a huge third wave up at 2 large degrees. My analysis for this one is extremely bullish. On the monthly chart, this is almost all of the price history of XRP, and I've added some notations to this chart to make my analysis a little bit deeper for this one today. This is one of my favourites that I began purchasing back here in 2019, and I've picked up a little bit more here and a little bit more around here. So I'm hoping to hold on to this one for a few years until the end of primary 3, maybe the end of cycle 3, depending on how long it takes. Cycle wave 1 lasted 3 years, and I've made some notations for the wavelengths on it. Primary 3 was 4.37 times the length of primary 1, not too far off 4.236, so there's a Fibonacci ratio in there. Primary 5 is longer than primary 3 at 7.11 times the length of primary 3. Cycle 1, an impulse, lasted 3 years. Cycle 2, a double zigzag, lasted 2 years and was a 96% correction of cycle 1, or a 96% reduction in market value. This is an absolutely huge bear market that lasted 2 years. After that, we had some recovery that lasted a year, and then another deep bear market lasting a year and 2 months. So primary wave 2 is shorter in duration than cycle 2, 1 degree higher. If primary 2 were to continue further and continue lower, then it would be longer in duration than cycle 2, 1 degree higher. For that reason, and because of the depth of primary 2, it's a 91% correction of primary wave 1. It probably doesn't need to take longer or be deeper. This looks like it's over here, and it fits beautifully as a zigzag. So although I leave my invalidation point down here, I could move it up to here, but I feel like that just might be a bit premature. I usually wait for the Elliott wave rule that 3 must move beyond the end of 1 to be met before I move those invalidation points up. So that's why I'm leaving it here. But it looks extremely likely that this bear market is over and the next wave up is underway. If primary 3 were to reach 4.236, the length of primary 1, a reasonable target would be $8.10. If the target's wrong, it might not be high enough. Let's expect primary 3 is very likely to be extended. When waves extend, they do so in both price and time. So the price target expects an extension. Let's also expect it could last a Fibonacci 3 years. That would be a good proportion to primary wave 1 lasting 1 year. I don't have a target for cycle 3. I might start to calculate a target for that when primary waves 3 and 4 are both complete, but it's way too early to try and have a go at a target calculation for cycle 3. I know people are going to ask. I'm not ready to do that yet. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. The low of primary 2 down here is this point down here. Now we're looking at the leading expanding diagonal of primary wave 1, the deep double zigzag of primary 2, and the very early stages of primary 3. I've drawn a trend channel around the bear market from the start of it to this first major swing high within it. There was a little overshoot here, a test here. These tests fell short. Price has broken through and had a back test of support, maybe moving up and away, but if we do see further downward movement, look for another deeper back test of support at this trend line. Within primary wave 3, no second wave correction may move beyond its start below 0.2794. 0.5582 is the last swing high within the bear market. A new high above that point breaks the pattern of a series of lower lows and lower highs and is a strong indication that this downward trend is likely over. So we've got the channel around the bear market breached and we've got a new swing high. Those two things add confidence that this low is very likely to be intact. Let's take a look at what's happening up off this low on the daily chart. This low down here is this point down here. From this low to this high, I can't see a complete 5-wave impulse, so I'm not going to label intermediate 1 complete yet. I'm going to label it an incomplete impulse with minor 1, expanded flat for 2, impulse for minor 3 unfolding, and then when that's done, minor 4 would need to unfold. Within the impulse of minor 3, I'll have minute 1, triple zigzag for 2, impulse for 3, there's a triangle in here for 4, zigzag for minute 4, and now minute wave 5 to end minor 3 maybe just beginning. At 0.8117, minute 5 would reach 1.618, the length of minute wave 3. On the weekly chart, about these lows, we have bullish reversal patterns and hammer candlestick patterns. Price starts to move up off these lows. We have some increase in volume, but then overall volume declining as overall price is mostly moving sideways, forming this rounded bottom. There's a little zone of quite strong resistance prices coming up against here, 0.51 to 0.55. We need to see a definitive close above that resistance area on an upward session with push from volume. And then maybe even because it's so strong, maybe even a 3 days away rule. Maybe wait for it to move 3 days away from that before we have confidence that that resistance area really has been broken. When it's broken, I'd then expect it to again provide support. This area is really strong. Previous strong support in this area and now strong resistance in this area. On balance, volume broke above weak resistance. That's a weak bullish signal. ADX is indicating there's an upward trend in a very early stage. It's rising up from low levels, coming up from below both DX lines. This is the strongest signal ADX can give. It tells us there is a new upward trend in a very early stage. RSI and money flow both neutral and stochastics. ATR declined as price fell and now is declining as price is essentially moving sideways in this strong consolidation area. ADX says we should get an upward breakout. For the short term, volume is stronger on upward sessions, so we may get that breakout soon. But the current session is developing a very bearish upper wick, so look out for initial support about 0.45. If that area is breached, next support below 0.375. On the daily chart, we see a strong upward movement, a golden cross here that's bullish, a pullback. ADX reached extreme for the upward trend. It reached extreme back here for this upward trend. It reached extreme up here for this upward trend. The pullback's now pulled ADX down. It's not back below both DX lines yet, however. It is again today, just today, indicating an upward trend. That could change after the current session is complete though. RSI, stochastics and money flow all neutral and ATR overall flat as prices moving lower. That's it for your XRP update. I hope everyone had an awesome weekend.